Good. Mic 4.
Mic 3.
Michael.
Mic 2. It just looks so funny.
I can't wait for you to line up this audio long gap.
It just like this little.
It's so good.
Hi, welcome to the Vaguely Anime Podcast. I'm one of the hosts this afternoon. Michael, followed by other host Deadpool.
Hello.
And other host Sage.
Hi.
And we're gonna be mostly talking about Deadpool and Wolverine, if not the entire time.
Yeah.
So spoilers ahead, but I guess we'll do our general thought first. So yeah, that's what we're talking about. So if you haven't seen it, go see it. Yeah. Sage.
Me.
Why don't you lead with what you think?
So for general.
Yeah, we don't have to keep it long.
Yeah, no. Overall, I thought it was really enjoyable. Very fun, movie in general. There were some jokes and cameos that really caught me off guard, which I was like, you know what? I wasn't expecting to come in super surprised, if that makes sense. Because I've seen the first and second Deadpool movie, so I kind of understand what the comedy is going to be like. But there were certain moments where I was like, okay, you got me. That was actually very funny, very clever. Good job. But yeah, I liked it a lot. I thought visually it looked really good. I think they did a good job blending a bunch of different aesthetics together.
Right.
Kind of blending the Deadpool Fox universe aesthetics with more Marvel aesthetics.
Right.
So yeah, I liked it a lot. Deadpool? How did you feel about your movie?
Obviously it's the best. I mean, the Deadpool movies aren't my favorite though. So, but also biased. I didn't see most of them before, obviously, as I told you guys.
Because you watched the Marvel movies, which had basically nothing to do with any of this movie.
Yeah, so to prepare.
Yeah, this was all Fox content.
All you needed,
Yes.
Didn't I say that you should watch X-Men?
Yeah, all you needed was Loki, arguably. And barely Loki, really. You kind of could have
watched
the
first episode
That's
of Loki.
Yeah, I watched
and then you could have understood what was going on.
I watched 1.5 episodes of Loki.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
and you don't even really need that.
No.
Because
you really don't.
No.
They you just kind of
exposition that
boy do they. It's one of my biggest flaws with this movie is the beginning exposition.
You don't need it at all. You didn't I would say you didn't need anything to prepare for this movie. And I would say that that's why they do a good job. I would say that you only need Deadpool 1 and 2 and you could get away with just seeing the movie.
Arguably, you don't even need those, which is my biggest problem.
Because it's so detached.
They basically ignore his entire supporting cast, and that bothers the shit out of me.
I had that same feeling.
And
but I was going to get into it later.
Yeah, we'll get into it. But I mean, that's not really a spoiler.
No.
It's just they basically are like, yeah, there was a Deadpool 1 and 2, but
yeah. But now we got Wolverine. So
it's like, I don't know. It
no.
felt like they should have had their own B plot.
I think that I get what you're saying, but at the same time, you would have been a little more confused if you did not see those.
Well, sure, but I'm not. But at this point, if you're watching a third movie, you should have seen at least the other two.
Yeah, but I mean, you could do what I did and see Guardians 3 when you haven't seen 2, and you'll be fine.
No, you shouldn't do that.
You should be like my friend. You watch Harry Potter's the seventh one, part 2. That was the only Harry Potter she watched. Was the absolute last one.
Breathe.
And I was like, why did you do that? She's like, oh, I don't really like Harry Potter, but my friend was going to see the movie. So I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll join.
Okay, see, that is I feel like whatever. But if you're slightly interested in a thing, don't just see a random. But if it's whatever, and you're like, my friend's going,
it's like watching Endgame with no context. cat.
Who would do that?
Who would do that?
Who
Gee,
would
I
do that?
wonder.
But then again, arguably, Deadpool and Wolverine is like watching all of the Fox movies with no context. It's basically their swan song, so it's their endgame.
Yes.
Deadpool and Wolverine is basically endgame for Fox.
Not that hard.
Not to the same degree, but it essentially does the same thing. Which is, hey, all of the build-up from all of those movies, and we're like paying it off in some way.
I would agree in that, like, it's the Fox swan song because they're like, okay, this is no longer like a thing that exists. But I wouldn't say it's a culmination of those movies.
Not a culmination, but
because
it is.
Endgame is a culmination
Yes.
of phases 1 through 3.
But there is like
that's why it's effective.
a bunch
this
of
is
the
not
movie,
the same.
Yes,
vibe.
but a bunch of the movie is infinitely better paid off having watched all of those movies.
I agree, but I'm saying like
It is not a culmination, but it is a product of its predecessors.
that's fair. That's fair.
I mean, I did enjoy it more when I understood it better.
The fact that you didn't watch Logan before watching this.
No, I know. Like, literally, like, I said that after we were done with the movie. I was just like, you know, the things that I think would have helped were seeing.
Not spoiling Logan for yourself by watching this movie.
I don't really care. Like, that doesn't.
But even if you watch the first Deadpool, wouldn't that be spoiling Logan? Oh, the second one? The beginning of the second one, yeah.
Yeah. But, like, it's like, it doesn't. I think I already knew that, not even from Deadpool.
Yeah.
Like, I think I just knew that.
It's just such a good movie.
People posted
Common,
Yeah.
Yeah, so like it didn't bother me. Also, I feel like because I had never really planned to watch everything, I kind of just gave up. Because too many things came out that I was like, yeah, I'll probably never watch all of that stuff. Like I just gave up. So
like
it didn't
MCU
matter.
content?
Yeah. Or even like
Fox.
Yeah, just like all of it in general. I was just like, I'll probably never get there, so it doesn't matter to me. So like for this, I had no plans of watching anything to get ready for it.
Right.
Not even X-Men movies, not even
Right.
like Logan, like nothing. Like I was just like, I've seen the other Deadpool movies. I'm ready to see this one, and like that was good enough for me. Like
yeah, I mean, you can absolutely do it. It
Yeah.
just has more like. It's basically like if you miss the reference, it doesn't really affect your life. But if you get the reference, it's a little more fun.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
agree.
just adds to like the value
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
it.
Yes, I agree. But so I mean, I got stuff.
I mean, that counts for something.
Yeah, but because I didn't watch, because I've seen like 1 or 2 X-Men movies. I think I've seen 2.
X2?
No, like I've seen 2 X-Men movies.
Oh.
Like,
but
in
which
general.
ones?
Like
Like more current or older? Like 2000s?
The older ones.
Okay.
Yeah, like the really old ones. I can't pick it out by the poster. This doesn't
What was
help
like
me.
the main plot thread? Do you know?
Well, I definitely watched as a kid, so that's why those ones I'm like,
Oh, more iffy because it was like a
yeah,
while.
like I remember like Angels in one.
Okay,
Okay,
so
that's
Last Stand.
X3.
Yeah, Last Stand.
Oh, wasn't thinking I saw the third one.
So that's X3.
So
the
maybe
best
I've-
one.
So
Yeah.
maybe I've seen like 3 of them at some point.
You
in my
probably saw
life.
the original trilogy, which
Yeah,
is
I
X-Men,
think so.
X2, and Last Stand.
I think so. But me and Ryan, I think, rewatched the first one because remember I was complaining to you because the kid in the wheelchair that I don't remember his name, nobody saves him.
Oh.
And I
that's X2.
We started with 2?
Wait, the one that like also has telepathy powers that like
Oh, no, is that X1?
No, because in X2
Jason.
they go to Alkali
Yeah.
Lake, and that's when Jean gets like enveloped in the Phoenix Force trying to hold back the dam.
No, that's X2.
No.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
And the kid is
So that is X2.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yes, you
saying.
started
That's
with
what I'm
X2.
With 2? X2.
which is arguably the best one in terms of the X-Men movies.
I would agree.
Um,
X1 is Magneto trying to like kidnap Rogue
Yes.
to use her powers to make like
Statue of Liberty fight.
yeah, everybody. He's trying to make not like humans into mutants.
You know what happens to a toad when it gets struck by lightning?
The same
Same
thing as
that
everything
happens
else.
I just don't know why.
You started with X2.
That's
I don't
like
think I don't think he'd
did-
do that.
how about this?
That's something that
Did-
I
Okay,
would
but-
do.
but that is
Did Rogue
X2.
already have a white streak in her hair when you watched it?
He says he thinks we watched 1 and 2.
Okay, well,
'Cause in
X1 is a fight in the Statue of Liberty,
Okay.
and X2 has Jason, and they just leave
And they're
him.
at Alkali
Okay,
Lake.
So then we watched 1 and 2, but 2 stuck with me because I was
It's a
very
better movie.
I was very upset that nobody saved him and they just left him there. Cuz like it wasn't his fault.
Nah, Jason
Yeah, but he's
could-
kind of a piece of shit.
But,
So like,
but it wasn't his fault.
He wanted
that
to be
was a
dead.
piece of shit. Like,
yeah, the kid was suffering. He's like, please just let me die.
but I feel like they
It's
could have
better than living.
Nah, that's fine.
Too far gone.
He's too far gone. He wanted to be gone. He wanted to be dead.
Like, it just
And
upset
in the
me.
context of X2, Stryker is his father, right?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Okay, so then I've seen 3 of them because I
So you
remember
saw the original 3.
I remember Angel on my own, but I did not rewatch that one recently, so I do not remember the plot of it. I just remember Angel sticking out.
They
It has
have-
Elliot Page. That's all you need to know about that
they
movie.
develop a cure from another mutant for like mutation
Leech.
in general. And the reason why Angel is in it is because his father is the one whose like company is developing the cure. So he's supposed to be like patient zero for the
Oh,
cure.
okay.
And he's
he
like
has that insane scene as a kid where he's like trying to
shave
I
him
remember
off.
that.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
That
yes.
okay, I don't know if it's just me because I recently rewatched it the other day because it's like one of my comfort like turn my brain off enjoyment movies. And I'm like, this seems wildly graphic.
It
like
is.
a 10-year-old, like
Yeah.
He has a
Yeah.
micrograder, like
Yeah.
mutilating himself.
Yeah.
I'm like MCU would never.
Yeah.
No.
Like
No.
MCU could never.
would never.
Fox had
Yeah.
no rules.
No, literally.
That's what's great about it, though.
Yeah.
But X2 is like the best out of all the like the original, or arguably all of the X-Men, like actual X-Men movies.
I don't know, first class for me, but you already know.
Yeah. But like X2 is like the perfect like people just living with powers bullshit.
Yeah, I would
Movie.
agree with yeah.
It's just people living their lives and they happen to have superpowers.
It's the best example of that.
Yeah.
But the reason I brought it up is there was definitely for some characters I had to be like, who's that? Who's this person? Who like because there's
Which
all
we'll
the
get into.
cameos.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
All right. I liked it. My as I said before, like my biggest problem is mostly like the plot and its pacing. Because it basically just like Deadpool constantly brings up how important all the supporting cast are to him, yet you're not seeing them and they feel like they're extremely unimportant.
But it feels like it's pushing him forward.
But like if in a way that is lessening the importance of his own people.
I mean, yes and no, because like I saw tons of people complaining on TikTok, and I get it. I understand that view too, but at the same time, they wanted to focus on Deadpool and Wolverine, and I don't think they could have done that.
It
in
focuses on
another
them
way.
though, but on it to the hindrance of the original cast.
I guess, but like I really don't know how they would have.
I think you
done
would have just.
both.
I think you just would have B-plotted it into them
But
trying
how
to
do-
help him somehow.
I don't know.
I don't know. What I'm just saying is that what I got
Mm-hmm.
feels like they were like, hey, we'll acknowledge these people are important, but we're not gonna ever do anything about it,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of shitty in a third movie that's had 2 of the movies dealing
Mm-hmm.
with those characters, and then they just kind of get sidelined in the third. And then they also there's a weird thing later that they like bring a character back for this like big moment that feels like they totally picked the wrong character. But I don't know. That was like my biggest thing is that it feels like the supporting cast has nothing to them, and Vanessa also feels like she is nothing. Like she is a nothing
We
character.
can
But
wait
isn't
for
this-
spoilers for that?
I was gonna say because that I have questions about.
Yeah.
Okay. But overall, I think it's fun. The fight scenes are great. The choreography is all pretty solid. And it's fairly funny. There are a few characters I could see people being like, wow, they really just kind of went, fuck you if you like that character. We don't care. Which, you know, there's a few of those bits in there, and you're like, all right. But overall, I mean, I enjoyed it. I do think it's my least favorite of the three. And I also think it's arguably the least rewatchable of the three.
Really?
Yeah, like I feel like if I go and rewatch it, it would be less fun than like if going back and rewatching the first two.
Really?
I think so.
I just
That is how I feel about it
like
currently.
I kind of, for me, in terms of rewatchability, I would say the second one is the most rewatchable, at least for
Absolutely.
me. Like it's just so balls to the walls, like fun. Then Deadpool, Wolverine, and then the first Deadpool. I don't know why, but something about like the first Deadpool, it's not even like the comedy isn't there, the action isn't there, just the overall like structure of it. Like I don't find it as like fun.
I just rewatched it yesterday, actually. No, 2 days ago. Because I've rewatched it a couple times. Like I've seen it, but I honestly, the last time I rewatched it, it's probably been like 4 years. Like it's been a long time since I've rewatched it. So I just needed something to put on, and because I'm planning on seeing Deadpool Wolverine again on Tuesday just because of $6 movies. So I was like, yeah, sure, why not? See if I pick up on anything new. And so I was like, oh, why don't I just because I haven't seen them.
Have you watched Fantastic Four?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, why don't I re-watch those, and I'm gonna watch 2 tonight, but because I also haven't seen that in a couple years. But I do agree, now that I have rewatched 1, I'm like, I could go a couple more years without.
Like it's not something I gravitate.
good.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not bad,
But
but it's not just something I actively seek out.
Yeah.
My thought process is that 3 feels like once you know all the things that are going to happen and all the cameos and all the things, that it loses a lot of its like
charm
after knowing
I'll
all
let
of
you
that,
know.
because it is very it puts a lot of weight on a lot of those cameos, and that it just feels like come on, like it feels like it's more substance for the cameo than it is the plot.
My dumb like monkey brain is just so like, I get it. Like,
yes,
I got you.
But I don't know if that'll, me,
But-
like my thinking, at least currently, that might change,
Right.
is that will not hold its charm over the
no,
time.
yeah.
I didn't know a lot of the cameos because I didn't watch the box.
She's like, random people are on screen.
Yeah, I'm like, who's that?
Who's
And-
that?
Yeah, like, and I would say that it didn't, like from someone that those cameos didn't, like I knew some of them, but I didn't know
Right.
all of them. It didn't mean, it's not like you're saying that it like held so much, but like I don't think so. I'll let you know on Tuesday though if I'm like, all right, I'm good, and like I
Right.
don't need to.
Yeah.
I guess
See it
the
again.
weight of the cameo's effectiveness is heavily dependent on if you understand what the cameo is, if
Yeah.
that makes
Yeah.
sense. So like if you're going into it being like, I don't know who this person is, like why do I care? Like why should
Well, I didn't
care?
go into it thinking I wouldn't.
But
Yeah,
you know
but
what
it
I
does-
mean?
it does hold the
like,
different-
I know
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, it
Like,
does hold the different like weight to it.
Yeah,
so
for
like
sure.
for someone
Yeah.
that does get it,
Yeah.
I don't know. We can go into spoilers from
Yeah.
here. I think.
Okay.
Do you have a non-spoiler plot, or you just
Spoilers.
No,
want to
this
jump
is
in?
absolute spoiler.
Okay,
Spoilers.
hey, spoilers from here on out. Jeez, calm yourself.
No,
there,
because
Rambo.
I've been thinking about this since I watched it.
So
and it's been
spoilers
bothering
from
me.
here on out.
Spoilers.
So Vanessa
Yes.
is an alternate timeline.
No.
Vanessa?
No.
that's-
He just went back in time and saved her life.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I was so confused the whole time, being like, well, yeah, no wonder your relationship is icy. This is a completely different person. Like,
That bothered the shit out of me though. That I was like, why is this the plot? Why
So-
is it that they're like
okay.
strained?
like
wait,
yeah,
wait.
they're like broken up, but
Okay,
like,
wait. So Ryan complained about the same thing, and I love their relationship. I also do not like that they broke up. I would like them to be together,
Right.
ideally. Like, I also don't agree with that. But, like, Ryan complained about it, you're complaining about it. I saw everybody on TikTok complaining about it. And a lot of people are saying, like, oh, it doesn't make any sense, blah, blah, blah. But I think for what they showed in the movie makes enough sense. I think that they did that just.
It's not that it doesn't make sense. It's just so unsatisfying.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's that
agree.
like, yeah,
I agree
sure,
it's
he got depressed
unsettling.
about being rejected from the Avengers, but like,
I
don't need that plot.
No, but it wasn't even that. Like, she wanted him to be more, and he was doing it for her instead of like just.
He wasn't doing it to like.
He wasn't doing it for the
fulfill
right
his
reasons.
own goals.
Yes, it was just purely for her. So he ended up becoming so depressed because he was like, well, now I don't know what to do and I don't know how to pivot here. So that's what made their relationship rocky. So I don't know. Do I only understand this as a woman that I'm like do you feel like
no,
you get it
I
too?
understand what you mean, but I feel like
that's not the plot I wanted.
At least,
But I agree. Like, I would rather them be together. I didn't want them to break up.
from what has been my whole thing about it is what had been established before in 1 and 2 is that they are so ride or die for each other,
Yeah.
and they are very like, and not in a toxic way, right? Where it's like, oh, like you can do no wrong,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I'll never leave you kind of thing. But no, like they really like support each other and like grow together
Yeah.
as people. And like they have a very healthy, flourishing relationship. So I just, at least in my point of view, I can't see like this kind of personal setback for Wade being a reason for them to be like, oh, maybe we should like see other people or like be apart for a little while.
Especially
like
because it goes
they would
nowhere for the plot.
Yeah, they would.
They just end up in the
Vanessa
same
would
spot.
be
I
like,
just-
"What can I do to help you get over this so you can be the person I know you're meant to
But
be?"
she was doing that. And
But,
then
like-
he was giving her nothing.
But that's
so
what I
she
mean.
was
Like,
I don't know
Wade,
what to
like,
do
I
anymore.
just don't see that happening within the context of their
so
relationship.
you just don't agree with how it was written.
Right.
Okay.
I also
Gotcha.
think they should have had Cher. They should have had their baby already. They said their name and their kid Cher. They should have had that kid. It's been years. They should have had Cher, but so the second movie ends. He's like, we're naming our kid Cher. You're like, cool. That's where this is going. They get nowhere near that. And then also, because of the way it's written, they make zero progress from the beginning to the end of the movie. That like it feels like they are just like nothing changed. So why have this be
They
the plot
held
to begin
hands
with?
Like an anime.
Sure, but like
Yeah,
I've
that means
already
they're
watched.
in love again.
I've already watched her fucking raw dog him during
Yeah,
Thanksgiving. I don't
yeah.
think I need them holding hands at this point.
Yeah, no.
But like
I agree.
it feels like nothing changed from A to B, and if
But-
anything, it's just a lesser plot. So why even have it?
I think.
Especially because she barely exists in the movie.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like they did it just because they needed something to push the plot. So they needed some.
I don't
But
know.
you could do that a different
They do
way.
a better job of essentially making like her character, because even in 1 and 2, like she's pretty absent for the majority of the movies, but like it's strong enough reasoning to be like, okay, this is why she's absent, but like this is why it's part of.
Yeah, I guess
Wade's
she
goal.
is as present in this movie as the others, but
he's
like feels
always-
less so.
He's
because it's
always
not just
doing
her;
it-
Yeah.
it's the whole group.
He's always doing it for her. Like if you think about it, so they can't. They just kind of have to do it in some way.
It just feels like in some way there should have just been a B plot of like, instead of having the B plot be with the TVA and their bullshit, keep that just showing up more often in A, and have the B plot be like everyone that's from his universe being like, we gotta fucking help him, he's just gone or whatever. I don't know what the plot would have actually been. I'm just bullshitting something. It just feels like they needed something instead of barely being important or existing really, except for being there as like a
but
picture.
I just don't think they would have even like known what was going
But
on.
you could make it so that they did.
know?
I just, because it feels like they have zero substance. All they're there for is to be in that picture frame,
I agree.
which
I
it
guess
sucks.
But yeah, like I guess so, but I feel like that's enough to push him so far to be
But
like,
no,
wait,
that
wait
is
to
enough for
do
him
this.
to push him. I'm not saying they need to interact with him. I'm just saying
No,
they
but,
needed
like,
their own
I,
thing.
I don't want that plot. I don't care.
I-
I would prefer that they were not broken up. If they could have fixed that they didn't make that happen,
I would have rather them.
I would have liked that. But this subplot
I
of
don't-
them
I don't
trying
need
to
them
help,
to
I don't
be-
need
But they
that.
also
B
picked the
plot.
wrong
Yeah.
character to have show up at the end, which I feel like is just like a full-on culmination of them not understanding what to do with the group, because they have Peter show up in the fucking Deadpool
Yeah.
outfit. It should have been Dopinder. There was no reason it should have been Peter. Peter's whole existence in Deadpool 2 is just that he's also some random other schmuck that Deadpool says yes to being on the team when Dopender doesn't get to be on the team.
Yeah.
And he dies. That is his joke.
Yeah.
And then he saves him at the end. But, like, he shouldn't... The joke is that Dopender should have been the one that would have kept a Deadpool costume randomly. Showed up at the end.
But I think it
should not have been a Peter joke.
But I think it's just because... So you just mean they just should have written it differently?
I think that
it shouldn't have been him working with him the whole time. He had it in the locker. Like that.
Yeah, I just don't think that whole setup makes infinitely more sense in universe to be Dopender than it does Peter. And so, like, that whole thing feels like a really good summary of, like, them not getting the
But I feel
point
like Peter
of
is
them.
so much more present in this movie.
But he shouldn't have been.
No, I
Like,
agree.
he
But
doesn't want that.
I'm saying in terms of, in the context of just this movie, like, they built him up much more. So it's not like, at least for me, like, it doesn't fall totally flat.
No,
Yeah, I didn't
yes,
think it
but what
fell
I'm saying
flat.
is that it would make infinitely more sense to be Dopender based on the
Yeah.
last two movies
Yes.
than it does to randomly build up generic white guy Peter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is my point. And that why I feel like it's like a really good like example of how it didn't feel like they got what to do with his supporting cast.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, like, I don't know. Like, we don't have to keep going on in the supporting cast, but it's my biggest problem with the movie is that it just feels like these characters that we have gotten attached to in the last two movies have basically no screen presence. Mm-hmm. And I don't mean that in terms of screen time. I mean that when they're even there, they don't feel like they matter.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Which I feel is important.
Yeah. I get you.
So, yeah.
So, just to, like, pivot from this real quick, I watched Elektra maybe like 3 weeks ago.
I'm so sorry for you.
Because I was like, I haven't watched this movie in like probably 20 years and I have no memory of it. And I remember I had watched the Ben Affleck Daredevil recently. So I was like, yeah, whatever. Like those two are connected. I watched that movie and by the time like the credits rolled, I was like, wow, I have no idea what just happened. I could not tell you the plot of that movie. Like, literally nothing happens the entire movie. It is incredibly boring.
Evanescence made 2 songs for that movie.
Really?
Or no, they made one for Daredevil and one for her.
Oh.
It was
The 2 popular ones.
It was incredibly boring and generic. And then going into Deadpool Wolverine, because I didn't see any like online spoilers because I was actively avoiding them. When I saw Jennifer Garner, I was like,
It just happened to work out.
I was like, what the fuck? I was
Yeah.
not expecting that.
I did like the joke though, where they were like, "Yeah, Daredevil's got," and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and she's like,
She's
"Eh."
like, it's okay.
Yeah, 'cause it just a double joke because they also dated and she just doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Although it would have been kind of funny to see fucking Ben Affleck in the Daredevil costume
My
nowadays,
God.
like just disgruntled Ben Affleck as Matt again.
I really liked Wesley Snipes back as Blade. That was funny.
I also like the joke of there'll be never be another Blade.
Yeah,
Deadpool
he's the
looks at
only
screen,
one.
Is that joke can work either way, as because they've already cast another one and they're making the movie, or because it'll never fucking come out because it's supposed to have come out like for 5 years.
It's been in production hell for like 10 years at this point.
It's
like,
so what is hard about dude fights vampires? That is all you need.
Yeah.
Just a guy running around New York stabbing vampires. It is the easiest movie you could make, and somehow it has taken them like 10 years.
Yeah. Also, the Chris Evans, because I was like, when Deadpool was like, come on, say it. So in my brain, I'm like, yeah, Avengers Assemble. And then he went flame on. I was like,
Because I also
was
thought
so-
he was gonna be Cap.
Same.
And I was like,
I
wait,
was not
what?
expecting Johnny at
Yeah,
all. It was
no.
so funny.
Awesome.
Awesome.
It was great.
Yeah.
I love to see it.
The fact, yeah, it was just, and they just shit on Johnny the entire time. And then he gets him killed.
Yeah.
It wasn't. What was it? He died from murder. You dumb fuck. Dude, Hugh Jackman had some incredible. That entire scene when they're in the minivan and he's just talking about how fucking annoying and how the Deadpool is just the worst person on the planet.
Yeah.
Insane
What
scene.
did he say? Like God's greatest joke? Or
Yeah,
something?
because it's
Oh,
but
yeah,
it's
'cause
all
he
on
can't
us
die.
because you can't die.
Yeah.
you couldn't even hold on to a fucking stripper, and it's just like he's going off, and you're just like, damn. Dude.
He's laying in on him.
I'm gonna fight you now.
Also, that fight, I don't know if you've ever seen this, but there's this thing called like car judo, where you essentially have a judo match in a car.
There is.
No.
It's awesome.
And that was the only thing I could think of during that fight scene.
Oh my god.
A lot of the fights were fantastic.
Yeah.
Though. Although it's funny because like they're gory, but they also feel like they're not. Like it somehow still feels like weirdly Disneyified gore.
No, they did a good job because like I get squeamish and I was okay.
I feel like it's because you don't see like a lot of like dismemberment, if that makes sense.
Right,
like,
which is what you would exactly expect from this movie.
There's definitely a lot of like spray and splatter.
Yeah.
But it's not like limbs and like disemboweling people.
Yeah, like what I'm expecting from a Wolverine fight versus Deadpool is like he's just fucking cutting his arms and legs off and shit.
Yeah.
And like, but none of that happened. Like I don't think that, like none of them ever got dismembered at any time. The only time there was dismemberment is when they're fighting the Deadpool group core at the end.
Yeah.
And it's like just limbs flying off from off screen onto on screen.
Yeah.
Which is I don't know. It was interesting that I was like, it's still definitely R, but it feels like a weirdly tamed R.
Yeah, I would agree. It's
Like,
tame for Deadpool context.
Right, and I would also argue that that the comedy itself is also much more tame than the other two.
This movie was very tame for Deadpool.
I agree.
Yeah,
Although I did like the In Sync Bye 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 number at the beginning. That was funny.
I was so sad when I found out that wasn't Ryan Reynolds dancing and that they had. Oh
Yeah.
no! You
I
didn't
didn't
It's
know.
not him. He had a dance double.
Yeah.
Wow, Ryan
Yeah.
Reynolds.
Same with
so sad.
same with the
He seems
ballet
like
and
obviously, but like this dance was a little more like contemporary
I
and
thought
easier.
that he
I
could
feel like
do
he would
it.
commit to that kind of bit
Yeah,
because it's
I
like
thought so.
low stakes enough.
But then the guy who did it, his TikTok came. I think his name's like Nick Pauly or something. He came up and then he was like, "Thank you to Ryan Reynolds for letting me have this opportunity." And then I saw
he
that's
another
cool though.
interview.
Somebody
Yeah.
got hired. You
Yeah,
know?
he
and I
posted
saw-
his like audition tape that he did.
Oh,
And then I saw
gotcha.
another like an interview with Ryan Reynolds, and then he says about him too, and I was like, God damn it! And I was like, I thought he did.
Because that seems like a low commitment, like
Yeah,
haha
like, you
funny
can-
like
you can
dance
learn
routine
that.
to like
Yeah,
learn.
It doesn't seem like it's too hard. That
Yeah.
if you like put in the work in a couple
And it's
weeks,
not
you
like
could
it was
learn
like
it.
one single take. Like I could get it if he was doing a whole routine one take.
Yeah.
Like that would be kind of hard to like memorize everything, especially if you have like no dance experience.
Although they did do it in one take.
That's
Oh, yeah?
impressive.
Yeah, because he posted the behind the scenes and it's just him doing it in one.
Well, I guess if
And
you're
then
gonna
they
get a
just
dance
cut it.
double, you could just do it in one
Yeah.
take.
Yeah.
So, makes
And you just
sense.
place it where you want it.
Yeah.
It's just him in the Deadpool costume, an entire green screen, like a parking lot, and it's just like a camera, and he's just doing the
That's
dance.
so funny.
But that was a great moment.
Yeah.
I agree. And then
Also-
how did you feel about Wolverine's mask?
I
I'm
don't
curious.
like it.
Like this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like just how it looked in general.
I don't like it. I liked his whole suit except for the mask.
I mean, the mask, it was definitely goofy, but like it's very like 90s, you know,
It's very comic accurate.
very comic
Yeah.
accurate. I feel like its translation into like IRL is a little off.
Yeah, like because I both liked that it was
I
there,
thought they
but
did
it
a good
felt
job,
odd.
But he's not scary in it. So like they made a comment about him being scary in it, and I'm like, it actually makes him 100 times not scary.
But that's being accurate to like
No,
the,
like,
yeah.
I think that's
like,
why
I
they
like-
had it sometimes on, sometimes off.
I like that they did it. Like it's nice.
they
that,
just didn't pull it up till the end.
Yeah, like I like that. You know, he got it, so that's nice. But then at the same time, I was like, it looks like you said,
little goofy,
It looks
yeah.
goofy. Especially when he first pulls it up right here. It like
I noticed that too. That was
wasn't,
really
like-
bothering me.
Yeah.
What's funny though is that I like the yellow and brown costume in the 5 seconds it's on screen much better than I did the yellow and blue.
Really?
I think it's a much better looking suit. And that I still think the yellow and blue looks really good, but I don't know. I feel like the yellow and brown that they showed for like the Hulk one,
Right.
when he first showed it just like it looks cleaner. Where I'm like, it looks like a tighter suit design to me. But I do think the yellow and blue looked great, and I'm just happy he was in a fucking actual comic accurate suit for once.
I also liked like the montage of him going to like the different timelines to find the Wolverine, and then you had like the comic accurate height version.
Yep,
that was funny.
Comic accurate height. You had him versus Hulk. You had I believe Mr. Scratch, I think is the name, the one with the eye patch, or is it Mr. Patch? I don't remember. One of those two. And the like famous Uncanny X-Men cover with him on the X. And the Calverine. Yeah, Henry Cavill as Wolverine.
Oh, yeah, I was wondering what was the point of that?
Because people were saying that he could be cast as Wolverine for the MCU.
Gotcha.
So, weirdly, he kind of rocked it though for that 5 seconds he was on screen.
Well, I feel like any like beefed up role.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Like,
he's about to get shafted again.
What do you mean?
Why does he?
Because apparently the people that make Warhammer and Amazon have not been able to come to an agreement on the like creative rights between what they can do and not do. And he's like running that whole Warhammer thing.
Is he like obsessed with Warhammer?
Oh, yeah. And if they don't come to a deal by like the end of December, it's dead in the water. And people are like, this guy
man
cannot catch a break.
Literally.
Loves Superman in like the worst Superman movie of all time.
Yeah.
And like fucking loves The Witcher. Got shafted by the writers because they were like, fuck you, you nerd. We're not doing anything like that.
Yeah.
Finally gets a Warhammer project that he can creatively control, and the fucking companies can't agree on terms between it.
This poor man does not deserve this.
I just want this man to be happy.
He seems like such a cool guy too.
It's because he cares too much. Like that's a good thing, but it's like why he keeps getting
I
fucked over
guess
because they don't like that. Like,
that he like he's like no we should have like a good story, and they're like nah.
No, they're like, we want money. Like, we
want
don't
money.
care.
We don't care.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's the fact that everyone else that gets hired around him doesn't care.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway,
Poor
that
guy.
just meant to
Poor thing.
Yeah, throw that in there. It's really a bummer. I feel so bad for him.
Really a bummer.
But yeah, I thought that was really funny. But yeah, my point was just that I think I weirdly liked the that costume, even though it was on screen for like 5 seconds, a bit more than the yellow and blue. But I think the mask works. It's something about the whites in the eyes that don't work for me on it. I don't know why.
The whole thing.
It just
work for me.
I think it's like because it's the whites on the eyes is like so big compared to like Deadpool's is like really small.
Yeah.
But I feel like on the Wolverine one, like they just looked almost too big.
I think it was that everything else around it made it feel like they were bigger.
Maybe like just the general proportions that they had for like this part here, which like I don't really know what you would call this.
The cowls.
The blowjob handles?
Yeah, like
Deadpool
the
calls
pointing
them? Yeah.
upward. Like maybe the proportions of that to like the white eyes made it seem like they were just like too big for the face.
Although it did make me realize I don't think I want the white lenses on a cowl for Batman.
Has he ever had that?
He always does in the comics.
No, I mean in IRL.
Oh, no.
Okay.
It's always just been eyes.
That's what I thought.
But that's what I'm like. What I'm saying is like when he pulled that up, I was like, you know what? I don't think I want that for a Batman in live action.
Yeah, no, I don't. They make the right choice to not do it because it looks silly.
Maybe they tried it and they were like, no,
that
that
looks
looks
stupid.
dumb. And then
If anything, I feel like Batman would have like a blackout.
No, because that's someone else's thing.
But you know what I mean? Like he's not going to put a bright white eye cover.
Yeah.
Well, because it's meant to accentuate like everything else because you're so that you see the eyes in darkness because it's like meant to be another factor of like fear.
Right.
Because you see nothing and then you just see eyes.
I don't know, like yellow would work better.
I feel like yellow would work.
Yeah, like not white.
It's always white. I don't know
No,
what to tell you.
I know. I'm just saying, like, if they want.
But I mean, in terms of translation for live action.
I don't know.
Because you could still be scared of like seeing yellow eye, you know.
Yeah.
White in real life just feels like what's the word? Impractical.
Right.
Like in the comics, like that would create like striking imagery, but once you remove the like comic like suspension of disbelief and put it in live action, people will be like, why the fuck would he make that choice?
Yeah, I'm interested to see because like basically Spider-Man and Deadpool are like the only two that do the whites in the eyes, and a lot of hero costumes have the white out eyes.
Right.
And they basically never translate it. Like if you're sticking with DC, basically every member of the Bat family has whiteout eyes,
Right.
Which I imagine they're probably not going to be doing. So it's just going to be domino masks, like without the white.
Yeah.
Like I'm just curious because now that I've seen Wolverines, I'm like I don't think I want that in live action, but I also feel like it'll be. I don't know. It's something that popped into my head.
Also, I think the movement on Wolverine for like the whiteout, right? So because you brought up Spider-Man, but like for Spider-Man and Deadpool, like the expression and like movement that they can do in like
Oh yeah, wait.
The After
is
Effects?
Deadpool's, like CGI?
So Deadpool's are both CGI, but also they're like at least they were in. I know that they were in the
'Cause they're
first
so
and second. Is that they
expressive,
popped
so-
out and that they could put different expressions in.
Oh, okay.
But I
was
think
wondering
at
how
this
they did
point
that.
they're probably just CG.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah,
it's
same
so
with Spider-Man, I
expressive,
have to
so I was
assume.
wondering.
Yes, his are they. I think in the first movie they were actual, like they actually were there,
right.
and then I think they became CG after that.
yeah.
But
I think,
I know
like-
in the first Deadpool for a fact there was CGI to help meld the
Right, the
but they had
motions.
actual ones that they would like take out and pop in new expressions. I assume it's all CG at this point, but I don't think Wolverine's moved at all.
That's what I'm
No,
saying.
Yeah.
That's why it
it
also
didn't.
looks so weird because his
Yeah.
didn't move at all.
Yeah.
So like when it's on Deadpool or Spider-Man, you kind of like in your brain because you understand like that's the eyes and the movement and like expression, like it helps to like translate those things without like having to actually see their eyes or their mouth.
Yeah.
But because Wolverine's doesn't move at all, but then you see his mouth because it's only a half cowl.
Yeah.
It, like there's like a disconnect in information, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. Although when he loses the shirt and it's just the
Oh
ab
my-
shot
yeah.
and it's like the mask and Deadpool just leans
Yeah.
over and he's like
Yeah.
and
God damn.
everybody when he walks up on like out of the thing and the TVA people are like
Yeah. The one TVA guy is so
It's
fucking
so funny.
Who we call it HR. So
But I was
funny.
gonna say like that's absolute like
He's shredded.
absurdly shredded, right?
He said that he was just basically eating like 6,000 calories of tilapia and beans
Oh.
like every day.
That sounds horrible.
In the middle of, so he said when he knew that they were gonna do that scene,
Right.
and they asked like when they were
like
gonna
how
do
beefed
it.
up can you get?
No, and so he said that, let's film that towards the end, and then the strike happened in the middle of filming,
Oh my
and then
God.
he regretted so much saying to
Let's
do
film it
towards
at
the
the end.
because he had to keep it over strike.
Oh my
months, he had to
God.
just keep eating 6,000 calories of tilapia and beans.
Oh my
to
God,
stay
that sounds-
shredded.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
That is so unfortunate.
Yeah.
But I'm sure he had to have done like a crazy bulk and then like just probably like a week or two before the filming they're like, all right, time to just cut every last
You
ounce.
dehydrate yourself to an absurd extent.
Yeah,
for that
when
stuff.
when you do like a crazy cut like that to like make weight, especially in like UFC or boxing, you're just like dehydrating yourself to the point where like you can still move, but you have like no fluids in you. That's why the
God.
guys always look so ripped and they have like no pecs or anything because they're so dehydrated. There's like no like
God.
extra room.
It's actually really bad.
Oh,
Like,
it's
it's
so bad for
super
you.
bad for you.
It's super bad for you, especially if you are a UFC fighter because you have so little fluid that like the fluid in your brain that protects it also goes away,
Oh,
and you only get 24 hours to rehydrate between weigh-in and like fight
oh my
night.
God.
Yeah. It's really bad, and it's also why Hugh Jackman every time is like, I fucking hate it.
I'm surprised Hugh Jackman would even agree to do it because wasn't it during like the last X-Men movies where he was like, yeah, like I'm not getting this shredded again. Like it's too much work at
So
this point.
the
He said it, he
Wolverine,
said he wanted
the
to.
Wolverine was the biggest time he had like committed to it.
right.
And he was like, it was a nightmare. I fucking hated my life, but I also wanted the shot.
Of course.
He was like, I
he's
want.
dedicated
Yeah,
for
he said
sure.
It's worth it.
Yeah, he
in
was
the
like,
end.
because then I can look back when I'm like 80 and be like,
Yeah.
nice.
Pat himself on the back.
I would.
Because what, he's like 55, right?
Now,
yeah.
And he's still like, again,
It's crazy.
I would also be like at 80, 90 years old and be like, hey kids, look at your
Grandpa.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do not envy that life.
No,
Like
absolutely.
that shit was way like when you look at X-Men 1 and it's like he had like 2 weeks to try to get in shape for that movie when he was hired before the shirtless scene, and so it's just like a tone dude.
Like he's built, but he's not like huge.
Yeah, like there's no muscle definition.
Yeah.
He's just that's a strong looking dude.
Yeah.
And it's like, and you could just get away with that in the 2000s, where it was just like, there's no real definition. It's just, he's pretty good. He's built. And
I don't
now
know.
it's
I
like
feel like
full definition.
I feel
shredded.
like I feel like there's even a difference like between the first X-Men and then X2. Like he seems like
but that was also more
significantly
him.
Yeah, like
he
in
probably
X2 like you
saw
could
it and was
see
like, not
he
good
looks
enough.
like much like
Yeah.
more built in
Yeah.
X2. And then they were like, yes, the built look. Let's just keep that going
You're
for the
like,
next
you know
30
what?
years.
You're onto something.
Yeah, he screwed himself over is what
Honestly,
happened.
he did too good of a job
Yeah.
getting
Yeah.
built.
Anyway, other parts about the movie. Does anyone have other specifics that they want to touch on?
I'm trying to think.
What do you guys think of Lady Deadpool?
Okay, I have a question because
Blake Lively.
Yeah.
right. So in the credits it says it's Blake Lively, but like
It is Blake
It
Lively.
is.
am I the only one who felt like that didn't sound like her voice?
It sounded exactly like her
So
voice.
maybe I'm on
I
crack.
actually
'cause
had no idea what Blake Lively sounds like,
maybe
so I
I'm on
didn't
crack
know.
then because I was
Exactly
like,
her
I was
voice.
like, I feel like this doesn't sound like her.
No,
Yeah,
because
all of Ryan's family's in the
talked,
movie.
She talked, and I was like, "Oh my god, it's his wife!"
Yeah, all of his entire family's in that movie. His
No.
daughter is Kid Pool, and their baby is Baby Pool.
Oh, I didn't know their baby. I thought. Well,
Yeah.
they have
Four
more-
kids.
Yeah, they have 4 kids.
Oh, okay.
like
Well, then the
are
2
in it.
youngest kids are in that movie. Matthew McConaughey's in the movie. He's
Wouldn't
he's
Kid
cowboy.
Pool-
Cowboy.
One
Deadpool.
Kid Pool have to be the oldest of his kids.
Yeah, Inez.
It's a girl. That's all I know.
They're all.
Yeah, they're all
aren't
girls.
they?
He has 4
does
girls.
he only have
I
girls?
think he
I
only
think
has
so.
girls.
Yeah, 4 girls.
Inez is Kid Pool.
I didn't know how many kids he had.
Yeah,
I just
4.
knew because I saw the clip where they were trying to guess celebrities, and like for like the press tour,
Right.
And Hugh Jackman was trying to make him guess Blake Lively, and he's like, "Oh God, you're doing terrible. If she could, she'd have 12 kids," and he's like, "Blake Lively." That's all I know. But all I know is that 2 of their kids, Baby
Yeah.
Pool and Kid Pool, were in the movie.
Well, I didn't realize. I thought like the baby was CGI. I didn't even
I
realize.
think the
that
baby
it
is CGI. I think the voice is the baby.
Also, the like too nice Deadpool with the long hair.
Oh yeah, the one
Nice
that never
pool.
went. Yeah,
Nice pool.
The one that never went through the treatment.
Yeah.
I'm just, how long until you regenerate? Regenerate?
Oh.
It's just like.
I'm gonna be so honest. I fucking hated Dogpool.
Why?
I hated that entire bit.
The interview of them talking about how fucking nasty like it was to just like record that. I think they said it was like salmon paste. They were like the trainer was like
yeah.
shoving in Ryan's mouth to like get the
Oh
dog to
my
be like licking
God.
inside his mouth. I think it's like 6 a.m. Like,
That
they're,
sounds
like,
awful.
Filming, like like nasty stuff. Like they just gotta keep
Yeah.
the straight face. It's just awful.
Nathan Fillion was head pool.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the members, the one with the Welsh flag, is the Deadpool with the Welsh flag on his chest is
Mm-hmm.
one of the players for Ryan's Wrexham team.
Oh.
The other
That's
guy,
cool.
the other guy that's in Always Sunny, that like is a partner with Ryan on that team.
Oh yeah. I just don't know his name.
Rob, whatever I think.
Yeah.
He was also supposed to be in the movie, but his cameo got cut.
Why?
Yeah, he was a TVA agent apparently.
Oh, unlucky.
Yeah, apparently it got cut out.
What, they couldn't make him a Deadpool 2? That would have been fun.
I feel like that he would have been in the movie definitely if he was.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently his scene got cut.
Oh, sad.
But
yeah.
for Lady Deadpool, a cool fact is apparently the writer, like for the comics, apparently he based her look without the scars off of Blake Lively in Gossip Girl.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
And then later on,
Right.
she ended up, so like a weird, like, because he
Full
just,
circle
yeah,
moment.
Like he liked the way that she looked.
It's kind of funny
she's
how
like
that works out, though.
5'11", you
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
great features,
Beautiful.
wine, like
Yeah.
statuesque.
Like Samuel L.
Yeah.
Jackson becoming Nick Fury, because in the Ultimate Comics, he was like, if someone could play me in the movie, who would it be? And he says Samuel L. Jackson.
LOL.
And then Samuel L. Jackson found out about that and was like, I won't sue you, but if you make a movie and you put him in it, you got to make me Samuel.
It's gotta be
You
me.
got to make me Nick Fury. And they were like, okay. So
it better be me or else.
yeah. Deadpool has in comics been like a mix between Ryan Reynolds and like a pug or like a Shar-Pei or something like that. Like there's a bunch of characters that just kind of are like, yeah, we have our looks based on X, Y, and Z.
Right.
But I did not know the Blake Lively thing.
Yeah. Ryan's best friend, he reads, like, he knows everything about comics and stuff, and he texted saying that because he knew that I like Blake Lively, and he was like, fun fact for you, and so he told me.
What is she even in?
Gossip Girl.
Is that really it?
No, I mean, she was in Gossip Girl for so many years, all of it.
I also know she's apparently in fucking Green Lantern, but I haven't seen that movie since it came
that's
out,
how they met.
which is
But
something.
he I think was married to
Scarlett
Johansson
Johansson when they started filming the movie.
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds was married to Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, but they were only married for like 6 months at most, I think. Like, they had a very short marriage.
I thought it was like 2 years, but you're probably right.
No, if I remember correctly, they had a really short
maybe
marriage.
Maybe it's a 2-year relationship.
Like engagement, maybe?
Like a 6-month marriage. But it was definitely short.
Yeah, they had a short marriage. They got divorced, and then like essentially right after, I think it was during like the press tour for Green Lantern, like him and Blake Lively were being like very flirty, you know, like you know, like people were like, oh, it's a PR stunt, you know, for like people to buy tickets or whatever. But then there was rumors that like Ryan Reynolds was cheating with Blake Lively, like that's why he got divorced from Scarlett Johansson, blah blah blah.
Well, so they were friends, and they actually went on a double date with separate people, and the whole time they were basically just like flirting with each other, like they were just connecting so well, but like on dates with like separate, because they were friends because of the movie. And then I think
they were married from 2008 to 2011.
Oh yeah,
really?
Okay, so it was multiple years. And then
I always thought it was so much shorter than that.
No, I mean, I knew that they did have a
3
short short relationship. And then after that, I think like a couple of months later, that's when they like finally were just like, let's go out, me and you. And
the amount of people that have dated Scarlett Johansson and just like, no, I just mean like in general, like and moved on to somebody else, which is like, and for most people, Scarlett Johansson's like an end goal. I always think that's really unfortunate. Like,
well, I feel like if you think about like the Hollywood dating pool in general, I mean, like it's pretty small. So like,
yeah, I guess so.
You know,
it was also like, well, I guess it wasn't that long. I mean, it is so long ago, but I was thinking like early.
Yeah, now she's married to that dude
Colin
from SNL,
Jost,
right?
Yeah.
Which I like their relationship.
I like them too. Although
I
really like Colin Jost. I think he's like a good writer, good comedian. His face is so punchable.
I can see that, I guess. I never specifically thought that myself, but like I can see what you're saying.
Every time I see him, because he just has that like very like frat bro energy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And every time I see him, I'm like, I enjoy the content you produce, but your face is just so punchable.
I forget. He brought Scarlett Johansson on for an episode. I forgot what the bit was, but it was very funny. But I love whenever they make jokes about him being.
Have you seen him like covering the Olympics in? So he's been covering the surfing, which I think is in Tahiti. And every single time they cut to him to be like, how's it out there? He's just like standing in like knee deep water in like cargo shorts and then like a sports blazer on top. And he's like, yeah, it sure is wet out here. And yeah, there's some waves over there. I really don't know what I'm talking about.
Like, why did they send
I'm like,
him?
why did you send this man out here where he's like so not educated about surfing at all?
The Olympic
Just
memes that have been coming out from certain stuff.
Oh yeah,
that one dude that failed the shooting guy. The one dude that failed the pole vault because his dick is so massive.
Wait, what?
Yes, he was doing the pole vault and he like cleared it, but then on his way back down, his dick hit the bar and it fell off, so it didn't count.
Yeah, his dick is so literally
hit the bar.
He's like a cup or something.
No,
because the cup would stick out.
You wear a unitard.
Literally,
wear a unitard.
It's people are like, okay, so what's worse, not getting a medal because your dick is too big, or getting the medal
but your dick is tiny?
Wait.
So people are like, what's like, is it great that you've now not gotten the medal, but the internet knows you have a massive dick, or would you rather get the medal?
Did you see about how for the Olympics, for like wherever they all live, that they supplied them like 300,000 condoms?
Yeah. The Olympic Village has,
but there's only 100,000
Yep.
members, 300,000.
The
condoms.
Olympic Village fucks a lot.
The amount of condoms, like.
I mean, yeah, but if all of them have sex twice, that's already more than 2/3.
But you have to think about how many men there are. But whatever, it doesn't matter. I guess so. Like
It could be gay.
It depends though, because if you think about it, like certain sports, yeah, you'll only have like one athlete who's qualified, but then other sports, you have an entire soccer team. You know,
Dude,
that's a lot of people.
Sports,
it was a crazy amount of
sports
condoms.
people at the highest caliber are horny as fuck. I don't know what you want. They just got gold medal and they're like, woo, let's fuck.
Yeah, let's fucking go.
Not all of them are attractive as well. Like,
Doesn't matter.
I don't
Peak
know.
of performance. That's what you're attracted to.
Yeah.
I guess.
Peak physical
But
ability.
after that, I mean, he must have put a dent in those condoms right there.
I was like, if you're gonna fail for anything, having a massive dick got to be pretty good reason to fail.
But I feel like, so I noticed this before as well, before this whole like pole vault thing, that like a lot of the male athletes, when they wear unitards, they're just like out there, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, y'all should just tuck, and then you don't have to ever worry about it. Like, I don't know why that's not more
'cause
normalized.
He knows his dick is so big. Like
Too big?
Yeah, like he should think
it's
about
not comfortable.
I'm
No,
not saying it's
but-
for comfort,
But no,
like,
if
that.
you're
It's to
if you
get
need
a medal.
but if you need to be doing what you're doing, you cannot be uncomfortable.
I guess that's
I guess
fair.
so. And you might.
But if drag queens are like
Wait,
throwing
no,
themselves
no.
off
But that's
stage,
not
might
comfortable.
You might move your body a certain way that might
release
rip.
it.
Yeah, like
But
the
like,
tape might
but
rip.
you're
anyways.
doing what you're doing specifically. Like
Yeah.
you cannot be uncomfortable.
It
You got to
might-
be
it
like
might
as
not work
good as
anyways.
possible.
Yeah.
You're not gonna want to fucking be uncomfortable while doing that.
No, I'm not saying it's for comfort. I'm just saying it's in terms of like keeping yourself streamlined.
I don't
So
think
that
you
is
should-
never an option to be a problem.
I don't think you should tape, but there might be like cloth or something. You
I'm sure there is something. I
Like-
mean, but they definitely wouldn't be
I'm
like.
not saying like a full frontal tuck
Yeah.
where it's like you're gonna do like a faux nudity thing.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't need to be that extreme, but just something where it's like at least secure
Yeah.
to your body.
Anyway,
Just stick it inside out. Then it'll never hit what he's trying to
just
say.
push it back in there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's how that works.
Oh my god. If you did that, would it come back out or it's just gone forever?
Gone forever.
You know, it's
gone
just
forever.
it's just it just goes
gone forever.
It's gone forever.
like you can't get it
Gone
back
forever.
out.
It's the forbidden move for guys.
You can't get it back out.
It's
You
just
just every day thinking about, I really want to push it in, but it'll never go. It's gone forever.
it's you can't take it back.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just it's the lingering option. You know, it's like the self-destruct button.
Yeah.
It's there.
It's the big red button.
Yeah.
But you can never take it back.
You can never. You just can't commit.
I'm leaving. Gone forever.
Jesus
Fucking
Christ.
stupid.
Anyway, Deadpool Wolverine.
Yeah.
Other thoughts about the movie?
Who else was part of that like initial cameo lineup with Wesley Snipes and Jennifer Garner?
Gambit.
Gambit, yes. Channing Tatum.
Channing Tatum. Which the man who never got his movie.
I know.
Yeah.
I feel
And,
so bad for him.
Okay, so I'm both like, I think he committed, and I love that for him. I'm glad he finally got to exist. I'm glad that they really went, fuck it, we're going as comic accurate with this costume as possible.
Right.
Do not think that costume looked good. I think they needed to adapt it a little bit, but I do respect that they went full in on, we're just making it accurate. We don't care.
I
I
thought he
do.
looked good.
I think it looked too stiff.
I think the comic accurate costume, like visually, I liked it, like for the commitment. But I agree, like it reads a little goofy.
It reads
live action.
Yeah, it reads really goofy. I respect it a lot, and
I feel like they need, if anything, maybe if they had chosen like to change the headgear just a little bit, because like the trench coat and everything else, I was like, yeah, that's fine enough. But just the headgear just seemed like it was like on him. I was like, damn, this man cannot move an inch.
I also love that, like, his Cajun accent where he's like, who's your dialect coach? Like, man committed
That is
to that
so
accent. And I respect the hell out of him for it. I'm glad he got it. I don't need him to come back.
Yeah.
I don't need that. I would rather a different Gambit.
Yeah.
But I am very happy he got it, and I'm also just happy a Gambit exists in live action that doesn't suck.
Yeah, that isn't just like the what was it? He was in
The one in
Wolverine Origins. Yeah.
It's still like he still kind of does like card telekinesis, which is not his thing, but like whatever.
Yeah.
It looked pretty cool. I also liked that Daphne Keane came back as X-23. Although for whatever reason that they fucking decided to spoil that like 2 days before the movie came out.
They did.
The final trailer.
Oh, see, this is why I don't watch trailers.
I don't watch trailers
They
either.
blurred it?
It was just everywhere on the internet, and I couldn't fucking avoid it.
This is why I am only in a super specific corner of the internet where it's just haha funny K-pop memes that don't interact with anything else I'm interested in, so I can't get spoiled.
It was everywhere. I was and like the amount of people that were like, "Why would you reveal this?"
Yeah, horrible
6 days before the
horrible
movie.
marketing choice.
Wild that they decided to do that.
Yeah. Which is funny
but-
because I feel like especially Deadpool has like really good marketing choices.
Yeah.
And usually their marketing campaigns are excellent.
Yeah.
So like that seems like a huge misstep on their part.
That it got to that point and nobody knew that she was there.
Yeah.
And it's 6 days before the movie comes out. You're like, anyway, trailer. Look, it's Daphne Keane.
Yeah, huge mistake.
Big
Big mistake.
Yeah.
Huge.
I like that she was there. I do feel like they barely used her. She weirdly has the least screen time out of the other three. And it feels like she should have been much more important.
I mean, the only reason why I could see why they would put her more on the back burner is like she did have like a lot of screen time in Logan, and whereas like Blade, Elektra, and Channing Tatum, who doesn't even get anything previous, you know, like their franchise or like movies that they were in are like so old at this point that like
yes, but I kind of wanted more out of X-20, like an
But
older X-23.
No, I agree with what you're saying,
Yeah.
but I'm saying that I think is why they chose to go that
I also
route.
kind of wish she got a costume. I kind of wish she had her Wolverine costume.
Instead
Coming
of
from
just like the
someone-
regular clothes.
Like who hasn't seen Logan or any of the movies that like they're in, it kind of made her look weak because like obviously I don't know what she could do.
She just felt like she was not really in it.
Yeah,
and
like-
it was weird. It felt like they were showing off everyone else, which I love, but it felt like she also should have had more screen time.
Yeah.
And her costume's like kind of based on an X-23 design. When she like first shows up, she kind of just has like a tank top, jeans.
It's the one
look.
where it's like a black hoodie, and she has like the I don't know what it's called. Hold on, just keep talking. I'll look it up.
Like it's kind of based off an X-23 design, like from her original comic run. But I kind of wish because it's supposedly supposed to be the Laura from Logan.
Right.
Supposedly. I kind of wish she fully suited up into like a Wolverine costume. That like she had the yellow and blue suit herself. And like because like she took on the Wolverine mantle when he died.
Yeah.
I would have really, really liked that. I thought that would have been a really nice send up and sentiment for that character's journey. That like we don't see the middle part, but we see that she ended up becoming Wolverine for that universe after he died.
Yeah, I agree. That would have been good.
I would have really liked that, and I think that would have been a great thing. Also, because then it could have like set up that she could just be the Wolverine for the MCU. Which I also think would have no problem with. I would be totally fine if they just used Laura as the Wolverine instead of Hugh. I think
they are using Hugh
Logan.
because there was an interview where they were like asking them if they were going to be them, and they were like, "Oh,
I think he's kind. I would be surprised if I saw him again, at least in like in a substantial context.
Yeah,
I think he might maybe be like, I'll be around in the background, but I don't want to be the MCU Wolverine.
Yeah.
I would be surprised if he would agree to that.
Yeah, I think I could see him agreeing to be in cameos.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think he wants to be the Wolverine anymore. Which is why I'm like, I would like, whether it's Daphne Keane or not, I think she's great, and I think that could totally work. But I'd be very happy if they decided we're gonna go with Laura as our Wolverine instead. I also just love Laura. If anything, she's like my default Wolverine. But that's also because I don't read a lot of X-Men comics, and the first Wolverine run I read was hers.
With her.
So I'm very partial to her. Her and her sister, Honey Badger. I love them.
Honey Badger.
Yeah, she goes by Scout now. Worst name. Yeah, Honey Badger, and they have a pet Wolverine
Aw.
that they named. What did they name him? Fuck,
Pookie.
I forget. No, I don't remember what his name is. But yeah, and Honey Badger and Deadpool have like a really great chemistry because they're both just fucking absurd.
I see.
But yeah, she also only has one claw.
Honey Badger?
Yeah, instead. But
She got the short end of the stick.
well, she was also like trained to be.
She only has one on one or one on both?
One on both.
Oh, okay.
She just has one claw, so it's Wolverine has 3, Laura has 2, she has 1.
Right. That's what I'm saying. She got the
yeah.
short end of the stick. She only gets one.
I mean, yeah, but like, she still has the healing factor and stuff.
Yeah,
so.
that's valid.
You still have whether or not you have 1 or 3 knife blades built into your body. I think you're.
I don't know. I feel like the 3 is just like maximum effectiveness.
Yeah.
I mean,
You could be shredding people open with 3. 1, that's a lot more effort.
sure. There's a great bit in the comics that during a time period where they were getting like X-Men, if they died they could be revived. They were reviving Laura and Honey Badger because they both had died. Honey Badger's name's Gabby, and they both died. And when they brought them back, they're like, "Why do I feel so much heavier? What the fuck?" And they're like, "What do you mean? All Wolverines have adamantium skeletons, right?" And they're like, "No. We just have the claws." And they're like, "Oh." And they're like, "What the fuck?"
Whoopsies!
So they just gave both of them adamantium skeletons because they didn't know that all Wolverines didn't have that.
LOL.
So anyway, good bit.
Yeah.
But movie.
Yeah.
I know we're over, but I feel like we've barely talked about this movie.
No, we did.
We've talked about really random bits of this movie.
Yeah.
We have. But I feel like
What did you think of Cassandra Nova?
I thought they did good with her.
fine, but like neither here nor there, if that makes sense. Because like I feel like she wasn't like a strong enough presence to be a villain.
I think it's really funny that they picked the villain that really only works when she's angry at Charles, because that's her whole defining factor in the comics, is that she hates Charles so much she will do anything to fuck him over.
Right.
And I do like that they chose that villain, and you're like, why the fuck would you choose that one who needs another character to be there? And they use her in a way that her whole point is that she doesn't know what she is without Charles.
I like her disgusting mind brain touching powers.
Yeah,
and I liked when she takes the skin off of Johnny.
Oh my god.
But other than that,
it's like, you got him murdered, you dumb fuck. And it's like, I'm sick of this slander. And it goes and it cuts back to him just going on this fucking tirade of all the things he said. I also like that he really leaned into his fucking Boston-ness for that. Mm-hmm. For whatever reason, this Johnny is from fucking Boston. Mm-hmm. That tirade, insane.
So funny.
Yeah, but that was brutal. She just fucking rips his skin off. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
But also kind of a bummer that Johnny just fucking dies like that.
He's done for.
Do you have any idea what he was doing to the budget?
Yeah. I don't know. I liked all the cameos with all the villains. Bullseye was there, fucking Toad, etc. Sabretooth. Sabretooth dies immediately.
Other Johnny was also there from X-Men with this.
Hotspot.
Yeah.
The other kid, the one that controls fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which was funny to see him back.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the movie was fun.
Yeah.
I think it is my, but it is my weakest of the Deadpool movies, I think.
I think
I still give it like a 4 out of 5.
If I look at this movie critically, I think it's the worst of the 3. But if I look at this movie in terms of like dumb fun and like just turn my brain off for enjoyment purposes,
Right.
I think it's really enjoyable.
In terms of like my MCU and X-Men ranking, Deadpool ended up in 23 out of 46 for Marvel.
Mm-hmm. So like midway
And
point.
It literally exact middle.
Yeah.
And ended up in 9th out of 15 in terms of the X-Men movies.
Okay.
So take that as you will, I guess.
Yeah.
I think again, if I gave it like a 4 out of 5, it's fun.
Yeah.
But I don't know how the rewatchability will hold up, at least for me.
That's valid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would also give it a 4 out of 5 in terms of just dumb fun. Like, there was enough, I think, good action, good bits, unexpected moments, that I'm willing to let go of, like, the kind of obvious writing issues that are taking place in terms of, like, plot structure.
Yeah.
But I feel like the comedy and action is strong enough to distract me from it, where I'm not, like, constantly thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I would give it a 4 out of 5 as well. I feel like it would be rewatchable.
Yeah. I still think it's rewatchable. I just don't know if it's as the other two.
Right. I know
me,
what you
at
mean.
least. Deadpool.
I didn't know if you were pointing at me. I can't see through my eye holes. I think that it is rewatchable because, I mean, obviously I want to go rewatch it. But with all the Deadpool movies, I feel like I always turn off my brain. Like,
valid.
I just expect that because they're just fun and ridiculousness and comedy. So, like, I never truly think too much about it anyways. So, I don't know. I don't think too critically in it. Like, I understand, you know, the plot points that people are upset with, but at the same time, for me at least, I think that they explained the things enough for it to make sense.
With no prior.
Right.
Yeah. So, like I said, I'd rather him and Vanessa not break up, but with it being that they did, I think that makes sense to push him forward and making that the plot point for pushing him and doing what he's
Like,
doing
as
in this
his
movie.
core motivation.
Exactly, yeah. Like, I think that makes sense for this movie because in all the movies, Vanessa always is pushing him in some way.
Yeah, no.
So,
I
like,
think that's valid.
You know, could it have been written in a different way so they didn't have to break up and he could have been pushed? Yeah, obviously, and that could have been better, but it was written this way, and, like, that's...
They just need to do another kidnapping plot.
Yeah.
Cassandra kidnaps her.
Exactly. Like, they could have.
Yeah.
Like, and so that's... Yeah, or, like, the TVA could have...
Yeah.
Like,
Repercussions.
exactly. Like...
I did think it was weird that there weren't really repercussions to him doing all of that. They were just like,
Yeah, he's like
Yeah.
timeline, like fucking up with all these timelines, and they're like,
yeah, like
Because
like
the TVA
again, you
deems
would
it's okay.
you would
Yeah.
think that like that could be the point of like the TVA goes and like takes Vanessa because they're like, nope, she's not supposed to be alive.
Yeah.
right.
Like,
Yeah, it's kind of a cop-out with because the TVA says it's okay.
yeah, it kind of felt like they were like, well, we need to involve the TVA, but we actually
The
don't care
TVA
about
are
the
just
TVA.
bad at their jobs.
Yeah, that they
Yeah.
were like, we don't actually care about them though. So
Yeah.
Yeah. But then at the same time, you know, being like, oh, well, can you bring back Wolverine's people? And it's like, no.
No,
That
go
was
fuck
important
yourself.
for for his character development.
yeah,
so.
he wouldn't have been the hero he is now.
Yeah. So it's like, it's kind of a cop-out because it's like...
It's like having your cake and eating it too.
Yeah, it's like, it's just whenever
Always hated that phrase.
Same.
they deem it's okay, but I don't know. I think that how they wrote it is good enough to me that it's like I have hangups on it. Like, it's fine. Could it have been written different? Sure, of course.
Yeah. But you're willing to like hand wave it.
Exactly. It's not enough that I'm just like that it keeps me up at night and I'm like upset about it. Though at the same time, they did say that there isn't going to be a Deadpool 4. I'm hoping that that's not
Did they?
true. Yeah, Ryan said that in an interview.
Huh.
I'm hoping that that's not true, and they're just saying that. because
If Thor can get 5 movies, Deadpool can keep going.
then they don't have time to get back together.
Yeah, seriously, they're gonna end off
Yeah.
not together.
Yeah, so like
That's-
then
Yeah, they gotta
I
have.
will be upset
Yeah,
about
they gotta
it.
have. They
Yeah.
gotta have Cher,
Yeah,
They got- yeah,
exactly. Yes.
seriously.
So
especially because
That's
now.
such a valid point.
Yeah.
If they don't, that's so unsatisfying.
yeah. So hopefully
The
that's
best
not-
relationship in the MCU, and they end up not together.
Yeah,
I
they
know,
need to have
really.
Cher,
Like, it's
and
the
then-
only one that has like actual development.
Yeah, and then she has to become Deadpool. That just happened in the comics. His
Cher?
daughter, yeah. Well, I mean that's not the name actually.
I'm picking up what you're
They're
picking
also
up.
not married. The Vanessa is not really a character in the comics.
Gotcha.
But yeah, the Deadpool's daughter just took up Deadpool's mantle.
Cute.
Don't know why. I just know that happened.
Mm.
But yeah, you good?
Yep.
All right. Thanks for watching this week's episode of the Vaguely Anime Podcast. Oh, and as of today, My Hero Academia's manga just finished.
Wow.
Heard
Read the
people
last chapter.
Are not happy. Are you happy?
People are not happy because
Wait,
they're
no, don't
fucking
say
babies.
anything.
No, I'm not asking like why.
I'm
have
just
to
saying
see
they're
he's happy.
babies.
Oh, and
I think it's a fine ending. There are
Does
some
that-
things I'm a
Does
little
that mean
annoyed
I'm
about
supposed
it,
to
but-
like catch up with My Hero? Because I'm like at least
I mean,
The
the-
show's
three-
not caught up.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know, but I'm like
It's almost caught
super
up.
duper behind.
Yeah, no, the season that's happening is
Are they
like
doing
the
a
final
two-part?
battle.
Are they doing a 2-part?
I don't know how they're doing it, but I mean, it's over now, so I guess they can do it.
Because I just don't understand how the show's gonna catch up if the manga just ended. So I feel like they have to do a 2-part.
There's probably going to be some kind of break,
Yeah.
but I don't actually know. Everyone thought it was a little odd that they were starting it before it was
Yeah.
finished. But it was a good enough ending. I just kind of wish it was a little longer, expanded on a little more stuff. But overall, it's fine. People were complaining mostly because they got pre-translated versions that were not dubbed well,
Oh.
that were like not translated right, so it made it seem like it was worse than it was.
So
Got
that's
it.
their own fault.
Yes, I know. And they were plastering it everywhere.
Right.
They're like, I can't believe this, and everyone's like, it's not out yet. You're reading a proof version, not
Right.
Anyway, yeah, it's fine.
That's a skill issue on their part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are really wondering what his next work's going to be. A lot of people are hoping that it's like My Hero Agency. But
Did he say he's gonna write something else?
we just know that he's working on something else.
Oh, okay.
So, but anyway, doesn't matter. Thanks for watching this week's episode of the Vaguely Anime Podcast. You have 2 weeks to watch 50 episodes of Code Geass, so get on that. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, leave a review, follow. Check out Cat the Moonstar on Twitch. We'll see you guys next week for whatever it is we talk about. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.